Welcome to Trading Ideas for the week of June 6, 2022. As you can see, Fed has a big job ahead, and many people doubt that we will have the soft landing that the Fed expects. This week, we are going to be a little bit light in economic news, although we still have a couple of very important decisions coming up, which we will go over. And also the earnings season really has come to an end, so there are not many earnings plays ahead. So I thought this week we will emphasize more on stock of the week, and I decided to come up with two stocks ideas that might be of interest to you to do a little more research and also see if that's something that you like to pursue and perhaps maybe even invest in. So as far as the events this week, you will see there's going to be a common theme, and that will be about autos. On Monday, we have Great Britain, Germany, Mexico, and Russia. They will come out all about the information about cars, from the sales, production, registration, which is very important. It's especially about the activities by consumers and economic activities. Now, one important thing is happening on Monday is Australia. With the Reserve Bank of Australia, they're going to come up with their interest rate decision. No earnings to speak of. And Tuesday, South Africa and South Korea, as well as Japan, they will inform us about their GDP growth. Spain will have their consumer confidence. India also will come up with their Reserve Bank of India's interest rate decision. And again, another theme with the cars, Brazil will tell us about their car production. We have one earnings on Tuesday before the open, that's Smuckers. So food related, SJM. So it will be interesting to see what they have to say. And that will be, again, a theme in the food side of the things. As far as Wednesday, Italy have their retail sales, Eurozone will have their GDP, Russia will tell us about their inflation rate, China, which is important to think about what is happening with the balance of trade. Indonesia will have their consumer confidence, and don't forget about crude oil inventories coming up at 7:30 West Coast time, Pacific time. On Thursday, we have Mexico and Brazil will have their inflation rate. And this is one of the most important economic event coming up this week, which is the Eurozone. The European Central Bank, they will come up with their interest rate decision. As of now for June, the consensus is still they're going to keep it at 0%, but we will be very much interested in their comments. South Africa will have their gold and mining production information. China will come up with their inflation rate, PPI, and vehicle sales. And Indonesia will have their retail sales. Don't forget about the gold trade. And we'll have two earnings. One, again, auto kind of related, is the NIO, that will be before open. And then DocuSign, and that will be after the close. Now, if you are trading futures, and even if you do not trade futures, I think it's important to follow, because as you know, every quarter we have the roles in the financial instruments and the equity side of things, equity indexes. And what happens starting this coming Thursday on June 9th, we'll start those rolls. So you shall see things are going to move from the June expiration. They're going to move to September expiration. And by doing so, we shall see some volatility, and also we will see some imbalances in the volume. So just watch for that. So now what will happen, the contracts will move from M to U. So just a heads up for the following 8 days, which ends on Friday, June 17th for the rolls. On Friday, we have the Spain's inflation rate. Turkey will have their unemployment rate, and again, auto-related auto production. Russia will have their interest rate decision, so it will be interesting to see after the inflation rates what this is going to bring us. Brazil will have retail sales. Canada will have unemployment rate and their average early wages as far as also participation rates. And this is, I think, the second most important data we're going to see this week is the US inflation rate. We're going to see the core inflation rate. The consensus is 8.3%. Also in US, we have the Michigan consumer sentiment, which is consensus are at 58.2. Also, I want to add this about 9 a.m. in Pacific Coast time. WASDE report comes out. And again, it's what's going on with commodities, especially in agriculture and food. I thought this is important to pay attention at least. So WASDE, we've had some explanation in the past. It stands for the World Agricultural Supply and Demand Estimates. At 10 a.m., as always, we have the Baker Hughes oil rig count. So let's work on a couple of ideas for the stocks. In our Saturday's session, we thought that Colombia is offering some value. Latin America has had a strong start for the year, especially being commodity and, again, energy-related economies. So what we see is actually Colombia, although they have a runoff, the presidential runoff for June 19th, so there is that political risk. But from valuation point of view, they offer interesting opportunities. So for this week, I've chosen two different sectors. One is in banking and financial sector, and that's Bank of Colombia, and that's offers a good opportunity, and they've done very well this year already. But that's something that I thought might be of interest to you. As you can see, I'm looking at the monthly. I'm going back to 2011. We've had a nice move so far year to date. And when you compare it to all the other financial and bankings around the globe, you see how strong this has been, up almost 41%. But there is some good valuation. And when we look at, again, on a monthly basis, we still have some room to grow. And fundamentally, the company is strong. And they're both companies in Colombia, which we have chosen, they are fundamentally solid. As you can see from the Investor Business Daily, their composite rating is 96, and they are ranked first within the foreign banks group. So want to pay attention to that. As you can see, they actually in the group relative strength rating is A minus. And so that bodes well. The composite is 96. And then we look at last a couple of years, we see we did have a gap up last week. We have broken above obviously above the 250-day relative strength to S&P is pretty strong. We definitely need a little bit of consolidation. We'd like to hold above that $43, take a breather, and continue with the next stage. The next one is in energy side, the oil commodity side. The company is the Ecopetrol, and it's a Colombian. Again, from the valuation point of view, it looks more attractive than other oil companies. And looking at again, on a monthly basis, I'm going back to 2011, you can see actually the whole energy sector had been beaten up till recently. So basically, that's why you see a lot of opportunities is really backing to the mean in a sense. So we have broken above the 20 and 50. These are the monthly and 200. So we are in an interesting position. And although the company, I mean, the company is already, the stock is already up 35%, looks like there's still room to grow. And it is, again, attractive opportunity from the point of view of, again, Investor Business Daily. They have a composite rating of 98. As you know, energy has been really the biggest winner this year. They are up almost 65%. So there's still room to go. And as you can see from the group strength to industry ranking, they are pretty strong. And when we go back and look at as far as a 2-year chart, we see again, we are above the 200, we are above the 50-day moving average. The relative strength is very strong. And again, another gap up last week. So we like to consolidate. And if you can break above that 1929, that will be a fresh buy sign. As far as the last chart, I want to show you from the Ichimoku point of view, have them side by side in a sense. We have the CIB and EC. So as you know, I like to look at the daily, weekly, and monthly. And as you can see, as far as from the CIB point of view, we are above the cloud, and our lagging line has already broken above the cloud. So that's strong. The momentum as far as the DMI plus, it's up. Weekly, we are above the cloud. And even on a monthly, we are above the cloud, although the cloud is pretty thin. So we like to, the heavier the cloud, and when we are above that, the better it is. So that's as far as the CIB. As far as the Ecopetrol, we are basically just getting inside the cloud. We are above the standard and trending line. The DM positive is has crossed the negative, and the trend is pretty strong. So we are above 20, we're actually 31. Now, the question is, you can see there's a cross point in the cloud. So there is this inflection point. We like to break above that. And that's why I think we need a little consolidation. But we had this nice gap. As long as we stay above this gap, we can continue, and we like to fill that gap. The lagging line actually broke above the cloud a few days ago, so that's a good sign. Our weekly, as you can see, we went 3 weeks ago and stopped right at the top of the cloud, so that was a nice support, a good buy zone. And now we have actually broken above our turning line in the weekly, and we just broke above the cloud on a monthly. So these are from the Ichimoku point of view. There's many other obviously analytical tools that we can use. These are just introduction. I just want to open the doors for you to explore on your own. And basically, we want to make this, keep our episode short. So with that in mind, I wish you a wonderful week ahead, a prosperous one, until we meet again next Sunday. Thank you so much, and have a wonderful week ahead.